Welcome to Smart Listening Lab. Listen, learn, and speak English.
Welcome to Smart Listening Lab, a YouTube channel for learning English through podcasts. Today on the deep dive, we're looking into something, well, really useful for anyone learning English, or even if you're just interested in the language. It's the key differences between British and American English. We've got this document outlining, I think, 10 main areas where they differ, and our plan is to unpack these so you can navigate them more easily. So let's get started.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? How one language took these, well, slightly different paths across the Atlantic.
Definitely. So first up, something you see straight away, spelling.
Yes.
The classics.
Like color, C-O-L-O-U-R versus color, C-O-L-O-R.
Right. Or organize with an S versus organize with a Z.
Those our and as endings, they're pretty clear indicators, aren't they?
They really are. And things like the double L in traveling in British English.
Compared to the single L in American traveling.
Yeah. And specific words, too, like check versus check for money.
It's a quick visual clue about where the text comes from. It is. And interestingly, some American spellings were conscious efforts to simplify things, make them more phonetic way back.
Okay, moving on from spelling. Vocabulary. Just everyday words.
Loads of these.
Like where you live. Is it a flat or an apartment?
Flat in the UK, apartment in the US, generally.
And what you put in your car? Petrol or gas?
Petrol here, gas over there.
A big vehicle. Lorry or truck?
Lorry, truck.
Yet what about your waste? Rubbish or trash?
Rubbish for us, trash for them.
And time off work? Holiday or vacation?
Holiday, vacation. It's funny how many common ones there are.
Yeah, it is. Using the wrong one might sound a little odd, maybe, but...
But people usually understand from context, you know. It's more about fitting in, sounding natural.
Right, okay, so that's seeing and saying. What about hearing the language? Pronunciation.
Now this is a big area of difference. Accents, basically.
The most famous one is probably the dumber sound after vowels, isn't it?
Definitely. Think of the word car.
In a lot of British accents, that R is silent, sort of twos is. We call that non-rhotic.
Whereas in most American accents, you clearly hear the R. That's rhotic.
And that's just one example. Vowel sounds can be quite different, too.
Oh, yeah. And even how the letter T sounds in the middle of words. Lots of variation.
It's a major identifier, but like vocabulary.
Understanding usually isn't impossible. People adapt.
Okay, let's touch on grammar. There are some subtle but interesting points.
Like talking about the recent past.
Right. In British English, you might lean towards the present perfect. I have just eaten.
Yeah, emphasizing the connection to now.
Whereas in American English, it's often simpler, the simple past. I just ate.
It's a preference, really.
Yeah.
A slight difference in perspective on the action.
Another grammar quirk.
Yeah.
Got versus gotten. The UK, you'd probably say, he has got better.
But in the US, he has gotten better is perfectly normal.
And gotten feels quite archaic almost in British English now.
It does. It's pretty much just an American thing these days for that meaning.
Okay, what about collective nouns? Like team or government?
Good one. In British English, we often treat them as plural, focusing on the individuals. The team are playing well.
But in American English, it's usually singular, focusing on the unit. The team is playing well.
It shows a slightly different way of conceptualizing the group, doesn't it?
It does. And sticking with verbs, irregular past tenses.
Like burn.
Yeah. British English often keeps forms like burnt or dreamt.
While American English tends to prefer the regular ed forms, burned, dreamed.
A tendency towards regularization, maybe?
Seems like it in some cases.
Even tiny things like punctuation differ stylistically.
Right, like quotation marks.
Single quotes like this are quite common in British style.
Whereas double quotes like this are standard in American style.
And where you put the comma or period inside or outside the closing quote mark, that can vary too.
Minor stuff, really, but it adds to the overall look.
Okay, here's one that can actually cause proper confusion. Dates.
Oh, absolutely crucial. This catches people out all the time.
In the UK, it's day, then month, then year. DDMY. So today, the 9th of May, 2025, is 952025.
But in the US, it's month, then day, then year. MMDDYYYY. So they'd write 592025.
And if you just see 592025 without context,
You could be 5 months out. Yeah, really important for international communication. Always double check or write the month out.
good tip. Lastly, idioms and expressions.
The really colorful stuff.
Loads of examples where the meaning is the same, but the words are different.
Causing a problem.
In the UK, you throw a spanner in the works.
In the US, you throw a wrench in the works. Same idea, different tool.
Exactly. Or being tired, I might say I'm knackered.
And an American might say, I'm beat,
Or for luck, touch wood.
versus knock on wood.
These can be really tricky for learners because they're not literal, are they?
Not at all. They're soaked in cultural context.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener?
Well, understanding these differences, spelling, words, grammar, pronunciation, it really boosts your comprehension, doesn't it?
It does. And your communication, too, whichever dialect you're dealing with. And remember, neither one is better or more correct.
Not at all. They're just different paths the language took. Consistency in your own speaking or writing is probably the main thing.
Absolutely. What I find fascinating, though, is thinking about how these differences came about. History, culture.
Exactly. And it leads to a bigger question, perhaps for you to think about.
Yeah.
How might these subtle, everyday differences in language actually shape the way British and American English speakers, well, perceive the world around them?
That's definitely something to ponder.
Thanks for tuning in. Keep practicing, and for more English lessons, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.